Philadelphia Orchestra for 5 years, came to the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra in 2006. So he was with the ISO for 11 years, recently left the ISO to pursue other interests, and still looking for what that interest is at this point and where he's going to land. I hope it's not too far, Zach, because I want to still go to Colts games and spend time with you, buddy. But he was also a proud member of the group and trio A Time for Three. You may be familiar with some of their work, but I also think it's personally appropriate for me to say the way Zach and I met, we were at Zoo La La, an Indianapolis Zoo fundraiser, and we were both on the dance floor. That's how we met, and we made fast friends on the dance floor. And then to tell you the kind of guy that Zach is, he has on his personal calendar, April 12th of every year, he sends a video message of him playing the violin to my mother. And to my mother, Zach DePew is Matt Damon or Ben Affleck and a superstar. So she absolutely loves that and is ecstatic every time. And it's like she's surprised that he did it. And it's like, Mom, he's done it for a few years now. So, but and then the last thing before I invite Zach up to play and bless us with his music is a humbling thing for me. I said, hey, Zach, the Cleveland Orchestra is coming down to the auditorium. We were sponsors. I've got some tickets. Would you want to come? He's like, sure, of course. I'd love to join you. I knew he's very familiar with the Cleveland Orchestra. And just being a friend of his, I was like, so what are you up to? And he goes, well, I'm actually in Vienna touring with the Cleveland Orchestra. Okay, so you don't need to come to the IU Auditorium to see him. So Zach did still come down, and it was an interesting experience, I think, for him to be in the audience as they played. And he was like waving to people. It was pretty funny. So with no further ado, we'll have Zach come up and play for us and maybe ask some questions along the way. Zach DePew, everybody.
Thank you for that introduction, Lauren. I've chosen 3 selections from a wonderful partita by Johann Sebastian Bach. It's a very uplifting partita, hopefully in the Thanksgiving mood for you all. The 3 movements from the major are the Preludio, which you'll hear here in a second, the Gavotte, and then the Jig. I hope you enjoy it. Not it. Tuned when I bought it.
a second to answer a question in between songs?
Absolutely.
Anybody have something? Yeah, Marty.
I'm one of the people who clapped inappropriately. How do you know? Because I've done this at big concerts too, and I'm so paranoid about this, I always wait for somebody else to clap. I don't know what I'm doing. So how do you know?
Well, you don't know. I mean, it really, it's such an uninviting feeling though when you clap and somebody shushes you, and then you're like, well, when do I do that? I totally understand. I think in each setting, it's different. Something casual like this, and a complete work when it's presented. A composer and the musicians really put this work as something that you would go and view in a museum. So a museum piece in a way. So when it's being performed in its entirety, a lot of musicians feel that it should be streamlined without interruption, whether they take a break in between movements or not, to really capture that silence in between movements. I personally am not as hardcore about that. I've always enjoyed people actually reacting to the music. If the end of a movement made you feel boisterous and hell, I love it. So I think that you would find musicians to be you would find a wide variety of answers to that question, and probably but it's a practice right now that is in place that you don't clap. But if you go back 100 years, you clapped in between movements. And if you go back to Beethoven's time, and the whole reason he started his Third Symphony with 2 loud fortissimo chords was to tell the audience to shut up. It starts with this, and then his piece starts. But those first 2 chords, back in his day, people were mulling around and talking. So who knows? The answer to your question is, I don't know.
Yeah, Gene.
Confidence is restored there.
Good. Enjoy the music. At the end of the day, you paid to be in your seat and to be enjoying the music. Enjoy it however you wish.
Gene, yeah.
Your fingers move so fast. Are you like anyone else where you have to do string training or something for them to be that nimble?
Well, the instrument requires, somewhat of a daily regimen. And certainly growing up, in your formative years, anywhere from the age, you start when you're 5, but, as you're getting in your mid-20s and 30s, and I'm almost 40, you're still building dexterity and strength and stretches. So there are exercises that we do on the instrument. You put your 3rd and 4th finger down up here, and then you go down here, and really ugly things like that. There's a good exercise where you keep all the fingers stationary and you move one. So that you get some speed, with flexibility and things, dexterity. One of the great violinists, and I'm not going to play any of his music today, unfortunately, but Paganini, he actually lacked, he was double jointed in every finger, so he wrote things on the violin,